Does that, Basho?
Boschko?
Polish.
Oh, I'll have to turn it into.
Okay, guys.
Hey, we are live.
Here.
I see it.
All right.
Hello, I'm waiting for it to share onto my Facebook. Basho.
The very first thing was you
I
said.
know.
Right.
All right. Are
Just
we
gotta figure out how to.
Oh, we are. I'm going to share this. Hello, I'm waiting for it to share onto my Facebook.
Wow.
okay?
All right, share.
So while we are waiting for people to hop on, welcome. What's in your mug today, Sarah and Bryce?
Oh my goodness. It was just happening to my computer, guys. Okay. Welcome to Mugs and Marketing. All right. So cheers. First of all,
Big cheers.
I have my Annie mug, which I told Bryce and Kristen I have like a surprise that's kind of embarrassing that I thought I'd kick off rather our Mugs and Marketing with, because we always bring a mug because it is Mugs and Marketing. So I'm going to share my screen real quick so I can show you the surprise
Ooh.
of why I have this Annie mug. You guys, that's me.
No.
What?
Yes. I totally played Annie in 8th grade. This is my embarrassing moment. Now the world knows.
Really?
That's amazing. You look like a good Annie.
What a great way to reveal that.
Oh, I know, right? So my best friend bought me this Annie mug a few years ago, and I love it because it reminds me of all the fun times. We even had a real dog playing Sandy. You can see it in the picture. Yes, you guys. Very embarrassing.
Will you go ahead and sing us a number?
Oh, you know what? Haven't warmed up today.
I just had to. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yes. Bryce, what embarrassing thing do you want to share with us?
Oh gosh, I have none. That would surely take the cake before I even tried.
Well, I brought my Once a Princess, Always a Princess Disney mug because I'm a little fact about me. I love Disney so much. Disney World, Disneyland, all the Disney. So, and it's a very large mug. So,
Mine is from Gatlinburg, the Smoky Mountains, because there are fewer things better than waking up in the mountains and having some coffee on your balcony and just enjoying the world. So that's my favorite mug.
That's awesome. That sounds gorgeous.
Yes.
And I
all
have
right. Well, I think we have a few people on. Hi, Carrie. Thanks for joining, everybody. So welcome to our second ever Mugs and Marketing, Volume 2, All Things Video.
Yes.
So we have Sarah and Bryce. We'll introduce ourselves in a moment if you're not familiar. But a little background of why we decided to start Mugs and Marketing. Well, we knew that we wanted to do live sessions. We encourage our clients every month to do this themselves because it is such a great way to connect with your audiences and really utilize all the different aspects of Facebook. So we were like, we need to kind of practice what we preach. And so here we are, Mugs and Marketing, Volume 2. It can be a little intimidating. We know that. We don't really like doing it either, but it is really a great way to connect on a different level. And it's video, which is what we're talking about today.
Yay. I've had so many people say, how do you hop on live? Like, I'm so intimidated. I hate looking at myself on camera. And to that, I said, me too. Like, it's not, I don't feel like it's comfortable for anyone unless you're, yeah, even Kristen. And she looks amazing. Like, and you're so good on camera. But I think it just takes that practice, right? Practice makes progress. And until you're used to doing it, you're probably not going to be comfortable with it, but it's a really engaging and great way to market yourself and your business.
Yes, absolutely. And another bonus is, yes, it's painful to do it live, but it saves. So this video will save afterward. You can then download it. You can use it in your emails. You can use it on your other social platforms. So that's kind of a bonus. And you don't have to watch it ever again if you don't want to. You can just know that you gave the right information and share it off to your people. So because this can be replayed live, if you're watching this live, that's amazing. Leave comments. Let us know what you think. If you are watching this on the replay, so later, maybe tonight, tomorrow, who knows, if you could put like the salt shaker emoji or a heart, or just let us know you're catching it on the replay. That would be awesome.
Yay, thank you. So, Kristen and Bryce, before we jump into our topic of today,
Hi, Courtney.
what did you say?
I just said hi, Courtney, because she commented. Hi, Courtney.
See, Kristen's watching it better than I am. Thanks for joining, friend. All right, so we are going to talk about and give you top 5 tips on how to create the most captivating video. And we're really going to talk about the importance of digital forms of marketing and why video connects so much more easily than just a text post or a post with just a picture or graphic. Now, those are great too, but we have found in our 8 years of existence in the digital marketing realm that posts with video always get the most engagement. And that is what we want, right? That's the whole goal, is to get more engagement and to be social on social media. So that being said, I'm Sarah Arnold, CEO of Socially Seasoned, founded the company 8 years ago and have 2 little kiddos and happily married and live in Northeast Indiana, where the rest of our team is also. So Kristen Powell, our lead creative manager, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Kristen, and I'm the lead creative manager with the honor of working with all of our clients on digital strategy, goals, branding, you name it, alongside our other creative managers who are amazing, and Bryce. So I get to work with all of our clients and working with Bryce on doing our video projects, which is amazing. Other than that, I have 2 dogs. Here's one. He's just looking out the window. There he is. I have 2 dogs, 1 child, and 1 husband.
Thank you for clarifying that, by the
For
way.
now.
Good information.
And I'm from Fort Wayne. That's all about me. What about you, Bryce?
Well, my name is Bryce. I do all of the videography, photography, editing, things like that for Socially Seasoned. So basically that means that all of the wonderful ideas and creative things that the managers like Kristen come up with, I get to execute on those, which can be some of the most fun and rewarding work in the marketing world, because basically I get to see through, from idea to fruition, something tangible that can actually be consumed by the demographics and audiences of our clients. So we get to see direct results from that. And I get a pretty large part of doing that. So that's pretty cool. I've been in the industry about 6 or 7 years now. So anything about a camera, I could probably tell you about. But yeah, so that's what I get to do every day.
And how many cameras do you have, Bryce?
Oh, that's a hard question. Probably 7 or 8.
Wow.
Yeah, they all have their own unique uses. And I get to sort of hand select which one to use for each project, which could be its own conversation, but yeah.
Next time. We'll get that one
Next
next time. That might be like a nerd alert.
Okay.
I love it.
Just
And
kidding.
Bryce, I'm so thankful that you said it was fun. Yay. Well, Bryce does amazing work for our clients and for Socially Seasoned, and we're so thankful to have him on our team.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So, Bryce, tell us, please, why do you think video connects so much more easily than on social media than just a photo or maybe a graphic with text on it? Like, those are great. They have their purpose. But why do you think videos in particular connect so much better?
Well, video has the distinct advantage of appealing to more than one sense at the same time. So you get to consume things visually and also auditorially. And that opens up a huge realm of ways to tell a story or appeal to an emotion or feeling, all sorts of things. And so video is pretty unique in that instance compared to something like radio, where it's strictly auditory, or like podcasts, or like newspaper or banner or a flyer where it's strictly visual, right? So You get both of those things at once. So you have a lot more power of telling a story, or being interesting in a way to your audience. So you have a lot more capability with it.
Yeah, you get the visual, you get the hearing, the audible, then you get motion involved too, which I didn't think about that. So video also has that motion, that change that I feel like our brains are constantly looking for. So while a still image is just going to stay there flat on the screen.
Right.
I mean, I know that's kind of obvious, but I just never thought about it like that. So
Mhm.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the more you can engage with somebody's brain, basically, the more interesting it could be, and the more compelling your advertising can be.
Get out of my brain, Bryce. Jeez.
Sorry, it's my job.
Well, thank you for that. All right. So, Bryce, let's go into some tactical, useful tips. You're going to run down 5 tips for us today on how to create the most captivating, engaging, effective videos. No pressure. What's number 1?
Wait, and remember, we have beginners watching this, Bryce, and you are very much an expert to the max. So let's make sure that this can, my little brain can understand these 5 tangible
Don't
tips.
sell yourself short. But yeah, so I guess in no particular order, except the first one kind of makes sense, which is that you always want to start strong. So visual advertisements, such as like on TV, have been around for about 80 years now. So people are just kind of used to it. Whether it's watching TV and you constantly have your ad breaks, or advertisements playing before movies at the theater, or scrolling through social media and every third post is an ad. People are used to it. And so if you can't immediately catch attention within the first 3 to 5 seconds, sometimes there's a high chance that you're losing plenty of audience. So always, starting strong, and that could be in all sorts of ways. It could be, with some sort of music that's enticing, or really interesting visual, or you can kind of tailor that idea around what your product or service is. But basically, the more you can capture attention immediately, your odds of success with pitching and through marketing goes up significantly. So that's definitely, I would say, probably top 1 tip, especially nowadays.
That's such a good one to start out with, Bryce, because I feel like all we do anymore is just scroll, 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 right? So if we see a video on our timeline and it just immediately grabs our attention, we're going to stop and watch it, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's like if you're watching YouTube or something and an ad interrupts you, it's almost always an inconvenience, unless it's something that actually interests you. Then you'll be like, wait a minute. Those are the very, very, very few 0.5%, whatever, of ads that you'll actually watch. And you know it when you see it. It's and it could just be something that you're specifically interested in, or it could just be an extremely well done intro to their product. You're like, oh, I'll stick around. You may not end up, it being something that you actually want, but the fact that it got your attention is what takes you to the end of the ad, or at least past the first 5 seconds.
awesome. Awesome. I love it. So what's number 2 of our top 5 tips of captivating video creation?
Well, it's always going to be important to make sure that your video is telling some sort of story. It can be easy to just, show some B-roll detail shots of your product with some music, and that might be your advertisement. But that's never going to be as effective as if it's something anecdotal, something that's going to personally appeal to someone, showing how this can be introduced into your life. So if it's like insurance, and it's about insuring your boat or something, your commercial or your advertisement pretty darn well should have something about why it's important to insure your boat, and some sort of story about why someone was not regretful that they got that type of insurance. Or it could be a new product coming out, and you want to show how well it can integrate into somebody's life once they get it, things like that. So it's important to make sure that a story is being told through visuals and sound. It's basically motion visuals should almost always have a story aspect. Whether it's a feature length a movie or, a short film or, a 2-minute commercial, a 30-second commercial, it's important to tell something linearly, story-wise, make sure that the audience gets why it's important to have this thing in their life. And that just has to be done through story.
That's awesome. It's like taking your customer through the journey, putting yourself as you're creating the video in your customer's shoes,
Right.
to see how they'll feel or what they'll do or how they'll react and how they can see themselves as this person who's buying boat insurance.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd say that's number 2.
Awesome. All right. Number 3.
Number 3. This one has a lot more impact than I think people realize, and that is in appealing to both sides of somebody's brain. Emotion and logic, let's say. So you can fall into a trap of only appealing to one of those and not both. So for instance, if you're only appealing to logic and you're just giving facts and bullet points about, this is why you need this in your business, things like that, you're going to end up with, if they do purchase, it's going to be a very unmotivated purchase, and they're going to be doing it strictly as a business expenditure of something, like, well, I guess we have to do this kind of thing. There's going to be no real pressing reason why they need to do this. So you're losing a lot of potential sales there, because some people need to be emotionally driven to buy something, right? So you're going to lose out on all of those. The other trap is if you're only appealing to emotion, right? And I'm sure you've all been there where you just feel like you just have to have something. You just want it so bad. But at the end of the day, you're like, it doesn't really make sense either financially or, logistically to get this thing, right? So that can be what happens when you just appeal to emotion. You end up with customers that are impulse buying, and then, they may have buyer's remorse. They may regret it.
That's so true.
And that can be just as bad. So you end up with traps on both sides. And when you appeal to both, it almost makes sense no matter what way the client or customer looks at it. It's like, not only do I want it, but I realize that I need it. And that's when you almost always land the sale, right? So, so you have to hit on both. Otherwise, you just end up with a pretty weak case of just having one or the other. So it's important to keep that in mind when you're marketing. And some people are more susceptible to emotion than logic, but if you get both, you're much more likely to land sales and to have effective marketing to all the demographics that you have.
And I think like another great thing would be to remember that there are so many emotions. Like, we always think of the big hitters of like sadness, happiness, fear, but there's so many more emotions on the emotion wheel that you can pick from, whether that's like, excitement or loneliness, or like there's just so many different ones that can really help you meet that logic, right? So like you want the two that kind of could feel like they can go together. So remember that when you're trying to make a video, is that there's more than just, the one of In the Arms of the Angel song with the animals. Yeah, we all get that one, and it makes us very sad. And that works very well, and you donate each month. But there are other emotions that you can also use besides the basic ones, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. Also, I just want to chime in here. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them right in the comment section on Facebook. If you're watching us live, we'd love to go ahead and address your questions live on air. So, all right, Bryce, take it away. Number 4, what is number 4 of the top 5 tips of creating a captivating video?
Yeah, so I think this one kind of goes back to when we were first kind of talking about why video works so much better than the others, and that's about the medium itself. So the tip would be to take full advantage of what that medium is. So going back to just text and print mediums like newspapers, flyers, banners, or just audio specific advertising like radio or podcast, you're only appealing to one sense at a time. So with video, you essentially have at least twice the pulling power to market to someone. So by taking advantage of that, what that means is not just focusing on some really cool music and, then just some B-roll shots or something like that. It's to incorporate them both as best you can at the same time. So, I mean, when you think about video, the first thing that comes to mind is, a camera, right? But then sound can be just as important, if not more important,
Right.
than video. I mean, you can imagine if you're watching a video of something that looks pretty, but the audio is just terrible. That's often more distracting than, let's say, an interview where their voice is nice and crisp, but the video is just moderate or whatever, right? So it's important to capitalize on the fact that you have audio and video at the same time. And that could be just more opportunity to hit on emotions with, voiceovers that feel very convincing and real, um, sound design, music choice, all sorts of different variety of types of footage and ways to incorporate motion. Um, so, so I'd say the number 4 tip is to realize the type of medium you're on and take full advantage of it, because there's a lot more potential in there that you may not realize. So put effort into, pre-production. Think about, how are we going to deliver an emotion and a feeling and a thought with our sound design and our music and our visuals and our lighting and our composition. Like, think it all through from the get-go and deliver in all parts of that medium, and you'll basically deliver the best product you can.
Awesome. Very good. Okay, so what is our last tip? Number 5 of the top 5 tips.
Yes, the top 5 is something that you may want to do before you even start getting into the actual video work, which is to get to know your demographic and your audience very well. Do some research ahead of time, get feedback from customers, things like that. And think about what, like, the most specific you can be about your demographic. And it may not just be, mostly males or mostly female or mostly younger, mostly older. It doesn't have to be quite that vague. It could just be, whatever feedback you get from, doing some research. And that can sort of impact the way that you're, delivering these videos. And like, a very general sense about it is that, a lot of women may be looking for more of an emotional reason to make a decision, or men might be looking for a more logical reason. That's a very general way to think about it. It's always much more specific and detailed than that. But each company is going to have a unique demographic, and it's important to figure that out first, so that you're not just doing a one-size-fits-all, let's market this to everyone, because the people that aren't right for your company aren't going to care from the get-go. And then the people that are right for your company aren't going to feel that compelled by that one-size-fits-all type of marketing. So figure that out ahead of time. Do your research, get your feedback, and then you can start to make informed decisions on how you're going to do this marketing.
Yeah, and I think like a great thing with that is it could also be the audience you're wanting to have. So maybe your current demographic on your social media channels, or in your emails, are a certain group, but you're really trying to now target a new group because maybe you rebranded, maybe you're trying to get more sales in this other area, maybe you're trying to show how much your company's grown or evolved. A video could be a really great way, which we suggested to a couple of our clients, because it's a great way to then interact with these new people. Make a video that speaks to them versus your older, I don't want to say the word older, but your other audience. So I think that's a great point, Bryce. And it's not necessarily who you currently have, but who do you want as well.
Absolutely.
Yay. So those are our top 5, and I typed them into the comments. So that way, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but that way if people want to skim through and they also want to read these, they can, and they can ask questions. So if you guys have any questions about those top 5, Bryce, we'll just say Bryce will comment and reply.
Yes.
So Bryce, okay, tell us this, and maybe Sarah, you can also answer this. If somebody, we have clients watching, we have people watching, if they wanted to say, okay, yes, we get why video is important, but we're maybe a little intimidated, but we want to start now. We're going to just do it. what would you say is the first step? What's the best way to make a successful like at-home video or maybe beginner type video? They don't have 7 cameras. What would you say?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we have people ask us all the time, we don't have a production crew or we're not working with an agency yet. We just kind of want to know how we can dabble in it ourselves. And obviously, it's not going to be professional quality. However, I think the first thing that you really need to think about is what are your goals? What are your goals for the video? What do you want to communicate? It can be as simple as putting that into a document. What action do you want your viewers to take? So when they're finished watching watching your video, do you want them to pick up their phone and call you and say, I want to do business with you? Do you want them to click and buy your product? What action do you want them to take? Because that's going to really determine what content you have in the video. And then where will you use the video? Is it going to be primarily on social media? If so, which channel? If it's on Instagram, that's different sizing than LinkedIn video. So you need to make sure that you think about all those things before you start putting them together. And then obviously things that Bryce touched on that are so important, the lighting, the sound, the editing and effects. Who's going to do the editing when you're done? What kind of effects do you want in the video to make it that much more compelling? So I'd say that's really kind of a very rough plan of where to start and what to start thinking about first. So let's say, Kristen, a company wants to invest in social media videos or videos in general. What are some ways that a person or a company or organization could leverage those videos for their marketing?
Well, as I run through my head, I think there's about 2 million uses for that one video. I can think of everything. First of all, you can use that video on all of your social media platforms. So let's say you make a 2.5-minute video, basically like a brand video. So just about your company to help grow it. You could use that on your social media. You could use that on your website. You could use that in your email marketing. You could use that in your in-person client meetings to present that video on a screen. Or if you're still doing virtual meetings, you could present that video. You could use it for recruiting efforts. You could, I'm just going to go on. You could make a QR code, which they're not outdated, guys. They still work. So any phone can scan it. And you could put it on a business card. You could put it on a marketing flyer. You could put it on a handout. And
then that QR code, when you scan it, could take you right to that video.
Yes, that's what QR codes do. So it would open straight to that link and people could watch that video on their phone. What else? I just feel like there's so many endless uses of that video. As long as you make it something that's timeless, you have to consider some of those things. But honestly, you could use it, one video, in dozens and dozens of different ways.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes people are surprised to not see just text or to not see just a graphic or a photo on some channels like email. If they see a video, it's like, oh, cool, I'm going to watch that. It's something that they're not expecting.
Yeah, absolutely. Bryce, do you have anything to add on that?
Well, if you're starting out for the first time, there's a lot of sort of hidden benefits of doing video in the first place that you may not even realize. For instance, it can help humanize your company in the first place, getting a face out there, especially like a leadership series or something like that. Putting a face on your company can do much more benefit than you may ever realize. Like if you think about large, corporate companies or even ones that aren't so large, sometimes all you have is just ideas and names, and that's kind of it, and you sort of feel disconnected from them. But once you start, putting up, like, that first step is always like putting up good headshots, and then maybe getting some sort of, videos, whether it's leadership series or, interviews about, how these people in your company got started, why they care about the company, why they're going to do their best to deliver for you, the customer, things like that. So even if you do one video about you talking about something, even if you're really nervous, or feel like you know, maybe didn't talk as smoothly as you normally do, you're already doing your company great benefit by humanizing it and putting a face out there. So keep that in mind as well. And you know, obviously, like Sarah said, just keep doing it, and it's sort of like a get used to it thing, and you'll end up being better and better and better. And once you get over the fact of, you know, you may not like seeing yourself on camera, once you can get over that, you'll start seeing it more objectively and seeing it in terms of numbers and growth and all those sorts of benefits that you can get from it. So just kind of go for it and keep doing it, and you'll probably see more growth than you ever anticipated.
Yes, absolutely. Even if you don't feel like a lot of people watched it or a lot of people commented or liked, we see the analytics for our clients and even for ourselves of what happens when you do post a video, whether that is live or a pre-recorded amazing video made by Bryce, you know, whatever it is, it hits more people. More people are seeing it. It's being shown to more people, whether that's the social media platforms deciding that they like that you're using their video, that their video capabilities. And so they're saying, hey, here's a few more people that'll be able to see it. There's a lot of great reasons for video. I was also thinking back to what he was saying about humanizing. If you're a company or if your services are about who you are and connecting with people, video is the way to do it. That's a great way to show them who you truly are, um, in a way that's before they actually get to meet you.
Mhm. Yeah, that's so true. And people love to see faces. When they can see faces, they feel like they can connect with somebody. And then if they hear the audio, the voice that goes with those faces and humans, then all the better for connection. So awesome.
Woo!
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking for no other questions for now, but feel free to comment any questions, message us. We would love to answer any of your questions on video. We know it's can be intimidating, but it's so
Could be
exciting and
Could
rewarding.
be as specific or as vague as you'd like.
All right. Thanks, Bryce. You will answer it all.
Well,
Or Sarah will.
we can try. Well, that's kind of a wrap, guys, on our second monthly
Chapter 2.
Yes.
volume 2 Mugs and Marketing.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining and watching. We see you on Facebook Live. Oh, Kristen, yes.
Boss, we have a question.
Question, Kristen?
Sorry, Erica, thank you for commenting. Oh, it went away. Swipe left. How do you choose what type of video or equipment to use for a client? Right.
Oh, yeah.
That might be, Erica, is that specific to Bryce or in general with that we would recommend for clients? I guess we'll see. Bryce, go ahead and answer however you'd like.
Well, that can definitely be a pretty long process to decide, depending on how much the client has in mind already. For instance, I mean, as far as type of video, that could, you know, have a lot more to do with what results the client is looking for, whether they're pitching a service or a product, or things like that, or if they're trying to just get ideas out there about what it is they do, why they're passionate about it, why they're the best in their industry, things like that. So type of video will have a lot to do with the results and sort of like the topic that they're wanting to talk about. When it comes to equipment, we sort of tend to tailor that towards which equipment will give us the best results in the time that's appropriate for it. So for instance, shooting on something like a Red digital camera, that takes more time to work with, and you have to be a little bit more thoughtful and methodical about the ways that you're going to shoot stuff. And that's something where you're going to deliver like blockbuster results type things. So if you're, shooting, that might be good for, shooting like a big brand video or something like that, where it's going to be seen by a lot of people and you want optimum quality, but you have the time to work with it. Whereas something like shooting with like Canon C100s or things like that, those are faster to work with and can deliver very good results. It's easier to work with the files, so faster turnaround times. So it's about like trade-off of time invested in production versus turnaround time. And then other equipment to supplement that, might be what type of audio are we going to need, or do we need, shotgun microphones on boom poles so we can follow talent around while they're talking, or can we just put lavalier microphones on them? Do we need to mount cameras to cars to get action shots? Do we need a jib crane or a drone to get a camera where a human probably can't be? Things like that. And that's all kind of based on whether the client, basically what it is that they're trying to, the result that they're looking for.
Yes. Do you
and-
need a dead wombat on set?
Yeah, if you're shooting outdoors and it's windy, put a dead wombat on your microphone. All sorts of, they're basically all tools. For instance,
Yes.
a hammer may not be useful for cutting a piece of wood. Even though a hammer is incredibly useful for lots of other things, you wouldn't want to, use a saw to put a nail into wood, right? So you got to be thoughtful about what's going to be most efficient. It's not always just the biggest and best camera and the most people, crew members, things like that. So you just got to think about it a bit on what's going to make sense for their results and their time frame and their delivery and all that.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Good answer, Bryce.
Yeah, thank you for asking that question, Erica. And Bryce, thank you for the amazing answer, of course.
Awesome.
Wow.
There are several people who are still online. If you have a question, feel free to drop it in the comments, or like Kristen said earlier, feel free to send us a message or comment on the video after it's posted. So thank you everyone for watching Mugs and Marketing.
Mugs and Marketing,
Chapter 2,
Volume 2.
Volume 2.
Stay on brand, Bryce.
Yes, tip number 6, make sure that everything that you do for digital marketing is based around your branding.
Boom.
No.
Stay on brand.
Mowgli says, thank you for allowing him to join us in today's video. He's protecting us. Okay, well, thank you guys all. We will be posting about our next topic next month, which I have a feeling will be about analytics and fun things like that. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much. And we hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.
Cheers.
Stay social.
Stay social.
Stay social.